Thank you for taking a few moments to view our Coffee with Manitou session from August 20th, 2014. This video is part 6 of the Coffee with Manitou session. This video is a continuation of the Action Patterns Plus, where Josh Tafoya uses a low battery alarm example to explain the include command.
Alright, so I'm going to get back over here to my monitoring company maintenance. There's a couple more things that I want to show you. There's one here called include, and I'm going to show you the typical example that I usually use for include. Most sites, as I mentioned earlier, they have a different behavior for commercial and residential low batteries. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new global action pattern called low battery. But then I'm going to create two sub-action patterns, one for commercial and one, as you might imagine, for residential. Okay? So the common thing that's going to happen in both action patterns is that I'm going to be contacting the key holders or the contacts on the account. That's the thing that happens no matter what happens on the other action patterns. So that's my common point here. That's going to go on my low battery action pattern. And I'm going to go over to the supervisor workstation later and change it. In fact, I'll do that now. Change the low battery action pattern as soon as I get it started here. Go into my event code and change my low battery here. Instead of being global action pattern 6, now I'm going to pick. The reason that it's not showing up is because I have not yet clicked save here. So low battery, instead of making it global action pattern 6, I'm going to make it low battery. Of course, some of you are probably thinking, well, there's another thing, at least one other thing, that is low battery, or that comes in as a low battery. We're also going to make that the same action pattern. But now we want the system to have a little bit of intelligence. We want it to say, if it's a commercial, I want it to do these other things. If it's residential, I want it to behave a different way. So what I mean by that is, for a residential, we're going to suspend that just like we were talking about. So nobody gets called between the hours of 9 p.m. and 8 a.m. And then we're going to contact the customer as the first command on there. We've got suspend and then contact customer. And then for the commercial, we just want simply contact customer. That's what's going to be on the commercial. But now we have to force this to make a decision between, is this a residential account or a commercial account? Using the include command here, we can scroll through this list of qualifiers, find this one that says residential, and say, if it's commercial, if it's residential, yes, then we're going to pick the residential sub-action pattern here. But if it's a residential no, we're going to pick commercial. So what this is saying is, for the LB, which is what the action pattern is that every low battery is going to get, it's going to make a decision between, do we do this part first or do we do this part first? And then regardless of which one we do, residential or commercial, then it's going to come back and finish that within the screen here. So we've just, by adding these 3 action patterns and making this the central point of it, made it automatic so that you don't call residential low batteries until after 8 a.m. I found that to be about half, maybe more of the sites that I go to. People are asking for exactly that kind of behavior. And in fact, the same thing with their fire. That in some situations, a commercial fire is dispatched immediately, whereas a residential fire is, the site is contacted first. Various different situations where you need to compare the residential or commercial premises type on the account. If you're on the screen, there's any number of things that are qualifiers here. I picked the one that's the very bottom one on the list. But you can say, if this account is on test, then this is which sub-action pattern you want to pick. If a test has recently expired, if there's a related site on test, if there's disaster mode, if there's caller ID mismatch. There was one here for the open-close type, if the area is open or if the area is closed. So there's any number of things that we can have using qualifiers where we're simply pointing to another sub-action pattern and allowing it to come back to the main action pattern. You can use that as kind of decision point for really making it a much smarter system.
This concludes Part 6 of the Coffee with Manitou session. Register today for next month's session at boldgroup.com and check out any upcoming videos on our YouTube page. For more information, contact your account manager today at sales@boldgroup.com.